Uganda, first of all, has the biggest population of gorillas in the world. It has 51% of the gorilla population. And we have two tracking national parks for gorillas. We have Bwindi Impenetrable Forest National Park, which is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And then we have Mugahinga. We have Mount Mugahinga National Park, which doubles as a national park, a forest park, but then also a mountainous area. So people who like climbing mountains, that's where they can have the whole experience, one of the mountains.
Welcome to the Truly Expat Travel Podcast. I'm your host, Paula, and this is Season 2. On Season 1, I talked to expats about their favourite holiday destination. On Season 2, I'll be doing things very differently. I'll be chatting to expats about where they currently live, why they chose that destination, all those secret hidden gems that only locals know, like favourite restaurants, best neighbourhoods, things that tourists don't.
Today I have a very special guest here. We met a few months ago and she has inspired me to visit the place that we're going to talk about, but I'm not going to say it yet. I'm going to let her talk all about it. So welcome, Lynette. I can't wait to hear all about it. Let's find out about yourself and who you are and what destination we're about to talk about.
Thank you, Paula. So my name is Lynette. I'm a travel expat working in and around Uganda, Kampala, the Pearl of Africa. So I've been in the tourism industry for the past 10 years. I'm passionate about tourism, about travel, about creating a space where people can experience different cultures, learn from them, and also appreciate more of what they have. So I create experiences which blend safari and wellness, culture and wellness experiences, mainly for women groups around the world. Yes, so I'm very excited to share more about Uganda and travel in and around Africa generally. Yes.
So Uganda. Let's dive in. So we're going to talk about, for me, it's a destination that is on my bucket list, and I'm sure it's on a lot of other people's bucket lists. So let's get started. What's one thing about the destination that only locals know and that you appreciate?
One thing that's very unique to Uganda is the variety of foods we have to offer as a destination. The culinary aspect in Uganda is very rich, and most times it's not even noticed by the clients that we have or who come into the country. Because we have over 56 tribes, which are ethnic groups of people. It's a melting point of so much culture. All these tribes have uniquenesses. And when it comes to food, it even goes beyond. So they have unique foods, unique ways of preparing. When you're looking at the carbohydrates, we have a variety, over 7 carbohydrates. And I think Uganda is the only country in the world where you go to eat, maybe you go to a restaurant and you say, maybe I want chicken. So you say, I want chicken and all food. And when you say you want all food, there is matoke, there is sweet potato, there is pumpkin, there is cassava, there is posho, there is something we call millet, there is chapati, Irish potato. So it can go up to 10 different small pieces of carbohydrates that they can put on your plate. So it's the only place, I think, around the world that has a strong variety of culinary experiences. Yes.
So if I was to come for the first time, what is a dish that I have to try? What is it?
You'd have to try luwombo, which is a very famous dish in the central. And you cook, it can be chicken, it can be peanut paste, it could be beef, but they cook it in a banana fiber, in a banana leaf. I think I see in Asia, they use a lot of banana leaves to wrap. So here we wrap the food, the stew, in the banana leaf with the curry. There's a way they smoke it so that water doesn't pass through. So they put the water, the chicken in, and they wrap it out and steam it. So it's a very famous dish here. It's called luwombo. Yes.
Okay. And is there a drink that you have to try as well?
Yes. So the very interesting thing is the culinary experience is very rich, that every culture has its unique food and unique beverage, which most times it's usually a little bit alcoholic. So in Buganda culture or in the central, we have omubisi, which is basically banana juice. So they have a traditional way of how they extract juice from bananas, ripe bananas, and then they get the omubisi juice. Sometimes the omubisi can be fresh, which is not alcoholic, but then there's also a fermented type, which later turns into an alcoholic, a bit fermented. Yeah, so we have omubisi, which is also very famous in the central. Yeah, and they use ripe bananas and a bit of lemongrass to make it. So they get the bananas and they mash them up with lemongrass. And that's the traditional way of how it was being made before we had blenders and all these machines. Yeah.
Well, that sounds good. That sounds good. You obviously have a lot of bananas there.
Yes, we do.
So what is the best time to travel to Uganda?
Yeah, and that's also something very unique, Paula, that Uganda, for any traveler listening, Uganda is crossed by the equator. So throughout the year, the weather doesn't really change that much. And being a tropical country, it's hot, it's hot and wet throughout the year. And when I say hot, it's not very hot, like unbearable heat. When it's very hot, it's like maybe 28 degrees Celsius, 28, 29, when it's very hot. And when it's very cold, it can drop up to 18, 19, degrees Celsius. So it's never very hot, never very cold. You never really have to wear a sweater any day in Uganda throughout the year. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's perfect no matter what time of the year that you go.
Yes. Though we have, of course, peak seasons for travelers, which are the traditional seasons of June, July, August, September. But I always encourage people, if they can, to also come during the low season, which usually is not so crowded. That way they can get a more beautiful experience because the hotels are not crowded. They have more attention. The parks are not crowded, and yet they still have the same experience because the weather is still the same. Yeah.
Yeah. I like going off peak because there's less crowds. It doesn't really matter too much to me whether or not the temperature is great. For me, it's more about less crowds. That's how I feel anyway. So is there something about Uganda that surprises visitors every time they arrive?
The genuine hospitality of the people. We are naturally welcoming people. And I think it goes back to the fact that we have so many cultures. So we get to welcome so many people and we get to interact with people of different cultures just by virtue of being Ugandans. So when a foreigner comes, we have it engraved in our culture to be welcoming to visitors. It's our culture which even pushes us to say, once a visitor comes, you leave the best for the visitor. And it's culturally engraved, So when we have tourists into the country, the hospitality is felt naturally. And this is something sometimes us as Ugandans, we don't pick on because we're used to having it. It's part of us, But when a client comes, they're like, wow, people are genuinely happy and welcoming because it's part of us. Yeah, so that's something which is very unique.
That's nice. Okay, so let's get started talking about the gorillas. So when is the best time to visit the gorillas and what do you need to know before you go? Because I know that, there's a lot that's back in.
Yes, so Uganda, first of all, has the biggest population of gorillas in the world. It has 51% of the gorilla population. And we have 2 tracking national parks for gorillas. We have Bwindi Impenetrable Forest National Park, which is also a UNESCO's World Heritage Site. And then we have Mugahinga. Yeah, we have Mount Mugahinga National Park, which doubles as a national park, a forest park, but then also a mountainous area. So people who like climbing mountains, that's where they can have the whole experience, one of the mountains. Yes, so when you want to track gorillas, I always encourage clients to book a minimum of 4 months in advance, a minimum, so that you can secure your permits for a particular date. Because of the conservation agenda, they limit the number of people who visit every gorilla family on any given day, so there have to be 8 people visiting a gorilla family per day. And once they visit, they spend 1 hour with the gorilla family. So because of that, they issue out a permit. So to be able to track the gorillas, you have to secure a permit, and each permit goes for $800. But recently, the Uganda Wildlife Authority introduced rates for the low season, which can also be a really beautiful catch for travelers who want to travel off peak. So they reduced the permit by $100. So for the low season, it's $700. And low season here looks at March, April, May, and I think November. March, April, May, November. Then the rest of the year, it goes for $800 per person. Someone to track has to be 15 years and above, and they have to not have anything, flu, cough, because the gorillas are their DNA is very close to us. So in case we have flu, cough, anything, we can easily catch it. Yeah, they can easily spread it. Then also, it's very important for clients to note that the gorilla tracking experience varies from area to area. It can range between a 2-hour walk to 3-4 hour into a rainforest, and because it's a tropical rainforest, it is so thick that whenever they're tracking, they usually have security, a team of 2-3 security rangers with each team. They are literally slashing bushes to create a way. The forest is that thick.
wow.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
because it's a tropical rainforest, the weather changes. So sometimes even during high season, which we say here it's the dry season, you could go tracking and it rains. You can say off peak it rains a lot, but you could go and track and it doesn't rain. So it rains every other day in the rainforest area. Yeah. So I'd usually encourage clients to track during the off-peak season because they have a wider variety to see more wildlife. The places are not crowded because I know sometimes on peak season, permits get done sometimes 2-3 months ahead of time. That's why if you want to track during the low season, you get your permits at least 4 months earlier. If you want to track in the high season, 6 months to a year earlier, you should have paid up for those permits.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they usually get done very, very fast. Yeah, mainly during the high season.
And you can also see other animals there too, can't you?
Yes. Oh, yeah, definitely. In Bwindi Impenetrable Forest, and sometimes, if you're lucky, you can see some forest elephants. It's a birding paradise. There are a lot of bird species. If someone is into reptiles like butterflies, insects, amphibians, all that, a variety. And then there are also other types of monkeys, colobus monkeys, the velvet monkeys, they're all in the forest. Yeah. And then we not only have gorilla tracking, but then we also have chimpanzee tracking. Yeah. Chimps.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because, that's also on my bucket list. So can you tell me a little bit about the chimpanzee tracking?
Yes. So the main difference between the gorilla tracking experience and chimpanzee is for the chimpanzee, it's more fun. The chimpanzees, because they're usually playing up in the trees, while the gorillas are usually on ground. So when you find a gorilla family, you're going to find it in its habitat. The babies are playing around. The father is keeping guard. The silverback is somewhere, watching over the whole family. The mothers are just taking care of the little ones. Teenagers are playing, fighting, throwing things. So they're literally on ground just having a good time in their habitats. While with chimpanzees, they're jumping from branch to branch, from tree to tree. So when you're doing the gorilla tracking experience, you meet the family and they'll be over there in their area and you'll be here, watching them from here. But with chimpanzees, they're going to be jumping. So you're going to be in the forest, standing, and literally they'll be jumping from here to here, jumping, making their noise and playing around. So it's a more fun experience, and so it's also shorter. For the gorilla tracking, we give it a 1-day program, though it can be shorter. It can be 3-4 hours or less. But for chimpanzees, roughly 2 to 3 hours, you're in and out of the forest.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, and with chimpanzee tracking, you can do a morning track or an afternoon track. Yes.
Ah, okay. So if I was to plan a trip to Uganda,
Yes.
how long do you recommend someone stay there? Because there's both of those. Oh, you're saying that one is a full day, one is kind of like a half day. How long do you think someone should stay in Uganda to be able to experience all this thing, plus, experience the food and the culture and stuff like that?
Yes. So Paula, it depends on the client's time. Really, it goes back to the client's time and availability. But as an expert, I would recommend, if you don't have time and you're very, very tight on time, give it 4 days. If you're very tight on time, but you would have to notice that you would miss out on a lot that the country has to offer. While I always encourage people that once you get a chance to get into the country, explore as much as you can in the country so that you don't go back and be like, oh my God, I was there. I didn't see that. I didn't experience this. So on average, we can give it 8 days where we can curate a very good experience, which has a blend of culture, a little bit of wellness if you want that, and primates if that's your core. But we also have other 8 national parks where we have lions, elephants, buffaloes, giraffes. So in case you also want a safari experience, we can merge it in there. So as you're going down, so you land into Kampala, Entebbe in the airport, you have a 1-day experience of culture, immersion and culinary experiences. And then the following day, you drive to where you find the chimpanzees. So you have the chimpanzee experience. Maybe you spend the night, you relax. Maybe you visit a community, you test some organic fruits and vegetables in there. very beautiful. And this is very green forest. It's a beautiful environment. Then you drive down to Queen Elizabeth National Park, famously known for its tree climbing lions of Ishasha. You have your safari experience. If you want to add safari, you see herds of elephants, buffaloes, giraffes, all in this one area. Then after that, you proceed down to Bwindi Impenetrable. You spend here maybe a day or two, preferably 2 days, because they even have Kazinga channel where you can do a boat cruise on the channel. And then during the boat cruise, you can see alligators or crocodiles. You can see heaps of hippos, schools of hippos. You can see buffaloes all on this, and so many birds. In case someone is a birder and they love birds, this place is a birding paradise. And after that, they can always drive down and track the gorillas. So roughly 8 days, you can have this whole experience before you drive back to Kampala, to fly out or even visit other countries in the region. Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. So what I'll do is in the show notes, put your link in there so that people can contact you if they want to organize this great trip there. And you can help them figure out what they want in case they want to do, I guess, something different.
Yes,
like a cooking class.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. We do customized experiences. So what I've just shared is more primate centric, but other people would want to do a bit more culture centric. So if they visit the Bantu culture where there's matoke or what you call bananas and peanuts, all that happening, they can visit another culture in the east where there's cows, and then they can do some milking experiences. They see how we make our traditional cheese, what we call ghee, straight from the cow's milk. They see how we make the millet bread, which is a type of grain that we use to cook a lot this side, So they get to experience a different type of culture, and then they can go down. We have a place we call Lake Bunyonyi, very beautiful, very scenic. So if a client wants a wellness experience, we usually take them there. If it's a group, we can plan a group yoga experience, meditation, journaling, all that in the beautiful, quiet mountains, of Kabale. So all this can be customized and curated. And these are just sneak peeks of what Uganda has to offer. If someone likes mountains, then you have Mount Rwenzori, which has snow throughout the year. It's based at the equator and it has snow, the peak,
Wow.
the Margarita Peak. So it's very beautiful to experience, And then we have Murchison Falls, which has a very beautiful waterfall, which is the Murchison Falls National Park. Even the park has giraffes, has big groups of lions, so it's also very good for safari, very rewarding safari experiences there too. So depending on the client's interest, a trip can be customized for them.
That's good. And I guess you would suggest not hiring a car, right? Because if you do like a tour like this, you won't need to. You'll have someone take you from place to place.
Yes, yeah, definitely. They're trained safari guides who have the experience and the knowledge of the different areas and the terrains, so they take you around. That the packages that we provide, all the services we provide, they're literally all inclusive on ground handling. So you get the vehicle, fuel, everything, guide paid for, all that, hotels booked, entrance fees cleared, everything. You just come into the destination and we take care of you.
Okay. You just turn up.
Yes.
You do everything else. What is the one thing, or what is something that you think that people should know and why you love Uganda so much?
There's so many reasons, but one thing that really sticks out is the variety. Like I mentioned earlier, Uganda is a melting point, of so many cultures, so much culinary experiences, birds. Like Uganda has the biggest amount of freshwater bodies in Africa, and Uganda is small.
Wow.
It has over 1,000 bird species.
Wow.
It has 2 tropical forests, actually more than 2 tropical forests currently that are still in existence. We're the primates capital of the world, because of the chimpanzees and gorillas all in one place. We have the biggest population of the gorillas. We have over 100 crater lakes, and that's something I had not even talked about. We have so many crater lakes, in the western region of the country. We have amazing weather. The weather here is unmatched. And for someone who has traveled and worked in other parts of Africa, I say this with a full chest, that our weather is the best I have seen, even from our neighbors, which are just close to us. Our weather is unmatched. And these are small things that we take for granted, the culinary experiences, the food basket that we are. That is, we provide fresh foods, fruits and vegetables and carbs throughout the year. There's no day when you're going to go in the market and they say, oh, bananas are off season, all this. We don't have anything like off season, Throughout the year,
Okay.
we have everything. So those are all the things that come together to make Uganda really the Pearl of Africa.
I mean, you have sold me. You didn't need to sell me because that's somewhere I want to go anyway, but you've definitely sold me on the location because it ticks all the boxes that kind of make me really want to go. Is it safe, like for a solo traveler like myself?
Yes. So what I always encourage solo travelers that because our infrastructure is not fully well integrated with different aspects, I always encourage a solo traveler, at least if you are committed to be a solo traveler, at least the first 2-3 days, have a guide that you move with to get you up to speed on how some small nitty-gritties operate, and to also make you have a soft landing into a destination. Yeah. So in case you're bid to be on your own fully, have a guide for at least 1-2 days, and they're not really expensive, and for your safety, for ease, having a guide will really ease, and also having a company that you come through, they'll plan everything and they'll even tell you that, okay, from here to here, you'll need a guide. From here to here, you can go on your own. Because if you have a company you're working with, you have someone, in case of anything, someone in the country who can support, something which is very paramount for a destination like Uganda.
That's good to know.
Yes. Yeah. And also,
sorry, go.
Sorry, I would also encourage clients before you come into Uganda to always carry out research about as much research as you can, because most times there could be something that your agent or travel company that you're working with maybe skips to inform you about or does not think is very important, while it might be, and also ask as many questions as possible. Last year, I had some clients come into the country and I didn't know they had a drone. They never mentioned it anywhere, So, and they went into Bwindi, where we have the gorillas, and they were flying a drone, Yes. And so we get a call. We're like, okay, police has taken your client. And like, what happened? What's wrong? What's wrong? And like, oh, they were flying a drone. And like, they didn't inform me, because to even have the drone come into the country, you need clearance,
Yeah.
So sometimes something can be so small, and if it's not checked or double confirmed, it can bring an issue. But they were cleared later on. Yeah, but it was, we had to work backwards very fast. Yeah.
And is there a certain fitness level you have to be able to visit the gorillas and the chimpanzees?
I mean, with the gorillas, if you can comfortably walk 3 kilometers, you're okay.
Okay.
Of course, the reason why I say that is not because you're going to walk 3 kilometers, but because the terrain is a bit steep here and there, so it can be a bit challenging. But then also clients need to note that sometimes people get affected by altitude, so altitude sickness, because we are over 2,000 meters above sea level. If someone is coming from an area, because the parts of the world which are below sea level, you can easily get altitude sickness very fast. Yeah.
Do you have any festivals there?
Yes. We have so many festivals. We have Nyege Nyege Festival. It's a music festival. So it attracts people from all over the world, people who love music, DJs, or arts and festivals. It's called Nyege Nyege. It happens every year in November. So it's a very big festival. Yes. And then in terms of culture, in terms of domestic festivals, we have what we call Imbalu Festival, which is a culture ceremony from the East, where people are initiated from childhood into adulthood, mainly for the men. So it's a circumcision festival for men.
Okay, very good. Is there anything you can think of that you might like, any tips or anything else you'd like to add to let people know about Uganda?
Tips. Like I had mentioned, it's always good to do a little bit of research. So that you make sure that you are getting the best experience out of the destination, because we have so much to offer. Most times a lot is left out, like the crater lakes. We have so many crater lakes. We have Lake Bunyonyi, which is a beautiful scenic place. We have the east where we have mountains, Mount Elgon, we have Sipi Falls. So it's always good to inform the person who is organizing your trip, your client, your agent, or your ground handler, exactly what you would want to experience. And maybe watching 1, 2, 3, 5 YouTube videos of different experiences in Uganda so that you pick out your best, I think would be ideal. Yeah, that can really help you get the best out of a destination than just picking something off the shelf.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's excellent. Thank you so much, Lynette, for coming in. I know it's so early there for you, so I really appreciate you coming on. But I'm sure I'm going to meet you one day because I'm definitely coming to Uganda. I just don't know when yet.
Thank you, Paula. I'll be waiting for you. We're here.
Yeah.
I'm very excited that we have had this talk. We've had to share about Uganda and all your questions. In case you have any more questions about Uganda, any more clarifications, I'm here to provide everything you need.
Perfect. Thank you, Lynette. And yeah, I'll see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me on the Truly Expat Travel Podcast. If you liked this episode and you found it valuable, then why don't you go ahead and like and subscribe so that you don't miss an episode moving forward. I've got some amazing guests and some fantastic destinations coming up. But if this is the episode and this is the destination that you really want to go to, then I suggest you head over to trulyexpattravel.com where you'll find travel guides and deep dive into this sort of destination. If that's not what you want and you can't find an episode that is a destination you want to travel to, then head over and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok because I'm pretty sure you'll find something there. In the meantime, safe travels, and I'll see you next week.